Hey everyone, it's Nikki. Welcome back. Today's the first of the month challenge. It's all about fall inspired DIYs. I've got 3 cozy projects to share with you today. Starting with this wooden pumpkin I picked up at Hobby Lobby for $4.99, and yes, I got it 30% off. I'm starting off by painting it with the color Burnt Umber, which is a warm brown and totally feels like fall. I'm painting the whole thing, the front and the back. Now for texture, these silver tiles are from Dollar Tree. I scored them from Goodwill. I got like 20 of them for $4. I cut one to fit the bottom half of the pumpkin, but I had to cut it into 3 sections to make it work. I used hot glue to attach the seams together so it looked like one cohesive piece. Make sure to peel off the plastic backing. It comes off super easy. It's barely on there. And once I trimmed everything up, I went in with some pumpkin chalk paint by Waverly. I did 2 coats first, and then the third coat, I added in some baking soda. You'll see here in just a second. I could have mixed it into the paint directly, but doing it in this way gives the finish more variation, I think. It adds that imperfect texture that I love so much without covering the whole thing. I didn't use a lot. I mean, to me, it wasn't a lot. Too much baking soda can get clumpy and start to hide the details in the tile, and I didn't want that to happen. These silver tiles are super versatile. My Dollar Tree hasn't had them in forever. Right now, they only carry the white ones with a blue detail. And while those are really pretty, they're much harder to cover. I definitely prefer the silver when I'm going in for that rustic primitive look that I typically go for. So I'm hoping that they'll get these back. But at least for now, I have plenty on hand. I'm going to take a minute here and check in, see how everyone is doing. I hope you're having a good week. Honestly, it's been a week for me, one of those weeks, but I try not to look at hard moments as why is this happening to me or nothing ever goes right. Instead, I remind myself this is just something I'm moving through. I don't always talk about it out loud, and I definitely don't want to come across like life is awful because it's not. These ups and downs, they're just part of the human experience. And I truly believe there's nothing we can't get through. So I hold on to that and I keep creating because it brings me peace. And I hope it does you too. So if you're having a bad week, I hope these words inspire you in some way to just keep plugging through. You got this. And hey, if you're still with me and enjoying the project, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. Once the paint was dry, I went in with this rust effect paste I got off Amazon. It says to use a palette knife, and when you scoop it out, it literally sounds like sand. I love the texture that it adds. It works so well with the detail in these tiles. I'll make sure to link it down below if you want to check it out. But I left this sound in here so you can hear exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like gravel. I'm leaving this part in here just so you can watch the process. A huge thank you to the sweet subscriber who sent me this crocodile. I was so excited when I got it in the mail and to use it on this project. Thank you so, so much. Now I'm going to use the word harvest out of these galvanized words I got at the Dollar Tree. These are old. I can't even tell you how long I've had them in my stash, but before I glue that on, I am going to glue my galvanized tiles down to my sign using some Tight Bond Quick and Thick and a little bit of hot glue. Just be careful because that hot glue goes right through that tile and it is hot. Now I'm going to take some burlap ribbon and wrap it around my sign, gluing it onto the back. And it's just overlapping the tile and, well, basically the seam. It's overlapping the seam where the tile meets the sign. And then I'm going to go around the whole thing and just make sure that everything is glued down securely. I'm not even joking when I tell you I have 4 glue guns and all of them give me trouble like this. I had the same glue gun for years and never had any issues with it. And one day I decided that I wanted to put in a different color and I had a lot of glue stick left. So instead of just squeezing it out and wasting it or whatever, I pulled it out and I ruined my glue gun. My husband tried to fix it. So since then, I've purchased 4. I purchased 3. My sister gave me a 4th, and none of them operate the way my first one did. And at this point, I'm not even going to buy another one. These ones are going to go until they can't go no more. I noticed the sides of the burlap were bowing out a little bit too much for my liking, so I made a small slit on each side, added some hot glue, and then pulled it taut. That helped everything sit a lot more snug and gave it a cleaner, more finished look, in my opinion. And then I just went around and checked everything one more time with my glue gun. I used some hot glue to glue down my word. I got this pretty lace off of Amazon. It came with a bunch of different styles. They're all really pretty. It's a vintage style ribbon. I'm gluing some along the bottom of the burlap and then I'm going to do the same along the top and glue it off in the back. I got these leaves at Dollar Tree. I'm not entirely sure what I paid for them, and I don't even know what the red dot even means. Can anyone tell me? Because I have no clue. But I have to say, these are some of the prettiest leaves I've ever got from there. They're really high quality. I just chose one that I really liked and glued that down. And I'm going to also add this Excelsior. I love this stuff. If you've been watching me at all for a while, I use this on a lot of my projects because I often go for vintage, primitive. I love shabby chic. I have a love for a lot of things. I'm just not that much into like modern, very sleek and clean looking things. I gotta have it looking old and kind of clustered with a bunch of different things that are pleasing to my eyes. I added these pip berries and I made sure to twirl them around on a pencil first. And this gingham ribbon I've had in my stash for some time. I think I got this at Walmart. I looped it around 3 times, glued it together a little bit, and then tied it in the center using a zip tie. It wouldn't be a project, one of my projects, if it didn't have a bow. Just saying. Fluffing my bow up real good. That's like one of the biggest things that us crafters who make bows will tell you is to fluff your bow. And sometimes I spend a lot of time, like I cut out a lot of the time I spent on this bow. You got to fluff it. And as you saw, I used a ton of hot glue, pressed it down, held it for a second. The white in the gingham was a little bit too bright, so I'm using some distress ink just to dull it down, and it goes with the lace a little more now that it's not so bright white. Dovetailed my ribbon, and that is it for my bow. I think it looks really pretty. I'm going to add another bow because I love to double them up. That's my thing. I love layers. I'm tying it off into an awareness bow and using some jute twine. And then I'm going to glue that right on top of my other bow. And these cute little pumpkins I got off Etsy. I can link those down below for you. They weren't that expensive. I almost put the glue on the pumpkin, but I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing that because it will flip over in my hands and I will get burned. No, thank you. I took this heavy duty wired twine, glued that down, and secured it with some masking tape. And these cloves. And that completes this project. I'll show you the results at the end of the video. All right, before we move on to the next project, I want to take a second to tell you about the first of the month challenge. This month's theme is Hello Fall, and it's hosted by the lovely Brenda from Rustic and Lace and Krista from Krista's Crafty Life. These ladies are both so creative, and I'm so grateful to be included alongside so many talented makers. I'll have the full playlist linked down below so you can check out all the amazing fall inspiration once you're done here. All right, let's jump into project number 2. For this one, I grabbed a pack of wooden slats from Walmart. These come in a bundle and are such good value. I love using them for layering signs and seasonal decor. I'm going to take these and make them into 2 palettes. I'm using these paint stir sticks that were in my stash. They're already cut, so they fit perfectly, and I'm gluing them right down using some hot glue. Now I'm going in with the color Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel, and I'm painting the front, the sides, the back, everything. I didn't realize just how much I've been using this color till I grabbed the bottle and it's just about empty. I'm going to paint 2 panels, the color Pumpkin by Waverly. And if you didn't know already, we are making pumpkins. And yes, square pumpkins are a thing, guys, so don't come at me. The outside panels are going to be the color Celery by Waverly. And I'm not worried about painting the sides because we're going to sand it here in just a second. We're using these nice earthly soft tones that are perfect for primitive, vintage, fall vibes. Now I'm just going to lightly distress this using some ivory chalk paint by Waverly. I don't want to add too much, just a little bit. I'm going to take this watered down ink chalk paint and make some pretty little flecks all over it. That also adds to the primitive charm. I'm going to take this dark wax, and this is what I'm going to use to color my pumpkin stems. It's a good thing I have a fan in my craft room because this stuff is wicked strong. Like, I should not use it indoors ever because it's that strong. I'm using some Titebond Quick and Thick and some hot glue to adhere my pumpkin stems. And I'm going to use those little Dollar Tree clips just to clamp them for a few minutes, make sure that they are on there pretty good. Now I'm going to wrap this Spanish moss around the pumpkin stem. I was looking at that leaf like, what is that? Oh, it's just a leaf. I'm going to leave it there. Just adds to the character, right? I almost used Excelsior. I love that stuff. I got to use it on everything, but I also love Spanish moss. So just adding some leaves and some raffia. I got this raffia 30% off too. I think all in all, I think Hobby Lobby is very inexpensive if you get stuff on sale, and they always have sales going on. So I can get florals and wood cutouts, all the things that are my favorites super cheap as long as I go when they're on sale. And they go on sale like every other week. So, you just got to pay attention and get your stuff and save your money. As you can see, I'm tying it off into a bow, and this pretty ribbon I got at Hobby Lobby last fall, and just tying that into a regular bow. I'm making these a little bit different. I decided to take this ribbon first and tie it off into a awareness bow and glue that down first, and then put the smaller bow on top of it. I got these cute little cupcake sticks from Hobby Lobby, and those were on sale too. Just warmed them up a little bit with my embossing gun so I could remove the stick, and added some pip berries. And I glued down some tumbling tower blocks to the back so it would stand up. And that completes these projects, and I'll show you the results at the end. I wanted to make some faux acorns, so I used these upcycled plastic Easter eggs that we all seem to have hanging around our house. I found this fabric at Dollar Tree, and it looks very much fall, like I've had it for quite some time. Maybe I bought it last year, I don't know. But I used some hot glue and just made pleats and glued my way all the way around the egg. It's kind of difficult to explain, but it's a rather easy project. You're just gluing, folding, gluing, folding. But working with the shape of the egg was a bit tricky. My fabric kept wrinkling and I started to get frustrated. I'll be honest. I had to remind myself to take a breath and just keep going and take a bathroom break and get something to drink. I actually made 5 of these. They're all a little different. You'll see the results coming up. Um, our challenge that we have once a month called Just Our Imagination, one of the challenge items, I don't know if I'm supposed to say so, but is an egg. And they told us that we can't make any acorns with the eggs. So it was funny when Brenda and Kathy Joe mentioned that, because I'm like, oh, well, I've already made acorns. So it looks like I'm definitely going to have to come up with something else anyway. But I don't know, it just kind of made me chuckle. So to finish off the body of the acorn, you see I'm just gluing and trimming and just kind of tightening it up, cleaning it up a little bit so it looks more put together. Because right now it doesn't look all that great, I'll be honest. I got this twine from Temu. I'm going to start coiling it around the top half of the egg. And this part was a little bit tricky too, again, because of the shape of the egg, but also the twine that I used. A lot of the eggs that you see people make, they use jute twine, and they use a thicker twine. I couldn't find any that What I have here on hand is thinner or it's drastically thicker. I did use the thicker on a couple of them. I'm not entirely sure if it looks good. You guys will have to let me know when you see the pictures at the end, but this does come out looking pretty cute. I did put a chunky piece of jute twine for the stem and then just finished it off. And of course, I had to take my little torch here and singe off all the little hairs, but I do like to darken it up a little bit. I think that looks real nice. And that completes this project. Honestly, these projects just made my heart happy. Each one felt like a moment of creativity, simple materials coming together to tell a fall story. I loved how each one had their own personality, from the warm colors and textures to the tiniest handmade details. There's something really special about creating with your hands, especially when it feels like you're capturing the feeling of the season along the way. I truly hope that you enjoyed these projects as much as I did. If you did, I'd be so thankful if you gave it a like and left a comment down below. Your words always mean so much to me. I read every one. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe and join our little creative corner. I want this space to feel like a happy place where everyone feels welcome and inspired. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. And be sure to check the full playlist. It's linked down below. There's so much fall inspiration waiting for you. Until the next one, guys. Bye.